So I'm originally from Florida, and I grew up playing tennis. I'm one of 5 children in a Catholic family. And when I went to college on a tennis scholarship, I actually tore my ACL my freshman year. And after that injury that I suffered, the Lord used it as an opportunity to bring me closer to Himself. I had been trying to fill the void in my heart that was meant for the Lord with things and people and the whole college scene at that time. And my heart was really filled with an emptiness. I was missing God in my life. And I had met a group of Christians at that time that had joy, and I wanted the joy that they had. And I realized that I had gone to Catholic grade school my whole life, and I knew a lot about Jesus, but I didn't really know Him in my heart. And so through that injury, I really became best friends with Jesus. And that friendship began to grow deeper and deeper. My whole life then became about the Lord. So much so that once I recovered from that knee injury after tearing my ACL, my whole life and my tennis game became about witnessing to Christ. Unfortunately, I wasn't surrounded by Catholic support at that time and Catholic good friends, that I ended up falling away from my Catholic faith. I actually became anti-Catholic, sadly to say. So it's the mercy of God that I sit here before you, sharing my vocation witness with you, that it is only by God's mercy that I'm here. What brought me back really was the Eucharist. And that's part of my title. I'm Sister Agnes Mary of the Holy Eucharist. My parents were praying for me as I had left the church. I had told them one Sunday morning, I told my mom, I'm not going to Mass with you. I don't believe everything we believe as Catholics, so I can't go to church with you anymore. And my parents, they were so patient, and they started praying for me, and they would leave Catholic literature and videos for me on my bed to read and watch. And it was a video of miracles of the Eucharist by an elderly couple, God rest their souls, Bob and Penny Lord, called them my spiritual grandparents. And they talked about a miracle in Orvieto, Italy. And it was about a priest who at Mass, at the moment of consecration, the host began to bleed onto the altar cloth at that Mass. And this priest didn't believe in the true presence, but at that Mass he did. And at that moment, when I watched that miracle, I knew the Jesus that I had come to know and love was truly present in the Holy Eucharist and truly present in the Catholic Church. And I knew this was the true church. Where else can I go? And so after that moment, it was Advent of 1998, I came back to the sacraments. I got involved with youth ministry, young adult ministry. At the time when I was in college, I was studying nursing, so I started working as a pediatric oncology nurse, which you'd think that would be very fulfilling, and it was in many ways, but not enough for one who has a call to be totally given to Christ. And I had this restlessness that was in my heart that I still wasn't giving all, that it still wasn't enough. And I had met a sister who came to our young adult prayer group, and she had been a sister that had graduated from my high school. And she talked about being the bride of Christ and sweeping the chapel for Jesus. And there was something in my heart that I desired that. I also desired to be married, but I also desired to be the spouse of Christ, to a heavenly spouse. And so I began discerning. Now, I didn't discern the right way. I did what you should not do. I dated and discerned convents at the same time. I don't recommend this. But it wasn't until I finally, after making a consecration to our Blessed Mother and doing a 54-day Rosary Novena, that I found myself on pilgrimage to our Blessed Mother. And it was on Divine Mercy Sunday that I felt the Lord really propose to me. And I just knew in my heart, and the peace that was beyond all understanding, I knew I needed to give my life to Jesus in this way. And once I met the community that I'm a part of, the Franciscan Sisters of the Renewal, I knew it was within this family in which I was called to live as a bride of Christ. And that was back in 2001, 2 days before September 11th happened. And this has been the greatest joy, my vocation after my baptism. And I thank God every day for my vocation.